ka gore le nna kwa ba nkemetse gore motho o ratile go tlhokagala ga tweng.
Minister Okeditse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me, se se diragalang, honorable member, ke gore, o itlhela ile gore ka gore go na le this shortage. Previously, o no itlhela gongwe facility nngwe le nngwe, especially tse dinnyane, e na le ambulance ya yone, le station diko ile ya yone. As a response to the shortages that were there, with a lot of them being in utter disrepair over the past couple of years, then the ministry decided that in some areas they will set up, more like it's a cluster. How local nata, for instance, instead of an ambulance, you try to cluster them konata. They will respond to a lot of these emergencies. Tota, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the issue is clear before us. We don't have these things, and we need to go get them. If we don't get them, we can try, but the bottom line is we are going to have this crisis. So Parliament should know you are in a state that is totally undesirable as it is today. So, even outside the house, ya gore mme bonnyane bo leng teng bole ka bo dirisa jana ba ka tla ba isela sa bohelo ka 10 million eno le re mo hileng o re tla le ka go reka ka price e botoka. But also, the leakages and wastages tse ne go bua ka tsone, they've put us here ka gore there are cartels in place. And these cartels cut across government, even in terms of like auto mechanics. Because how lebelela, Lucas on a lukului, how timing belt, Lucas why it takes him a day or two for to replace a timing belt at a cost reasonable. But how let's argument, what the ambulance timing belt. that thing is 5 times what Lucas pays. If you look at it, I feel your pain. It is pain, it's even worse for my people. But it is a legacy that we found. And I say it to you, Gore, we cannot have fixed it in the past 3 or 4 months. Me, Lole Parliamente, ke rata gore wa re, if the speaker allows, read a statement, the state of ambulances in the country. Ke rata gore la rialo, because then we can give you a true picture. Ya se eleng gore sa diragala. It is not a good state at all. Tota hela, the truth is, the healthcare system in the country was on the verge of collapsing. It was on the verge of collapse. So let's look at Ebona as though it is a system that we have inherited that is stable. Every day, if you can pick something, healthcare, we are in trouble. But much as I know we will fix it. Given what we are trying to do and what plans and strategies we have, we are going to fix it. Melelona, when we look for investment, you must know let's support that investment. We can spend the whole day here. I describe how dire the situation is. Bomme ba eleng gore ba belega ha ngwa ka operation e be ra sana belega a tshwantse gore a tsamaye e be le gore gongwe ka gore o tswa le pashe e ndo go totume ga ana ma ya pagamang kana ha gongwe batsadi ga itse bate go be go ra gore mme ebile ka gore le one facility can only talk so many o helletsa le tshwantse ba tsamaye go nga isa nesente but ha gona ambulance ka mo isa. And that is not because bodiredi bo boho ga bo bate gore bo ka ntsha ambulance gore e thuse. So you need to have this honest and true picture. Ya seemo sa lona. This is the truth you must face. Ya bohelo. Yeah, hola, Mr. Speaker. So because it's the truth we must face, Mr. Speaker, if they want a statement on the state of ambulances and the entire fleet, we'll be amenable to doing it, sir.
Supplementary.
Further supplementary, Mr. Speaker. Last supplementary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Meredumedise, batutere dumedisa setšhaba. Tona ra go utwa ka gore o bata go tokahatsa o ikala go tokahatsa o na le mananeo o na le di strategy. Me motho o ka botsa gore na re strategy tse di centera mo go eng go ha go lelwa thata ka ga gona madi ba ka dingwe ba re nya ya ga gona madi re utule me rute gore lona jaaka
the biggest problem, or part of the problem, yeah, healthcare, because these are problems sailing or cumulatively, they've come over many years. Me, next year at this point, we certainly would be in a better position. Go tla re tsaya a bit of time gore re nne at a point e leng gore ba tla be re le ko go yone. But go isa ko local governments le gone go a go thusa in terms of solving problems quicker at a local level. Go sa tlhoke gore be e le gore di ya to the center for approvals at all times. But the elephant in the room ke either maladministration or corruption, kind of just sheer wastage in the sector. Ke eng go twa gona madi a betiri jaaka o bua. Ga gona madi a betiri ka gore ga e le gore mente betiri ga se 900. That is where the problem is. Ga e le gore mente it's not unheard of gore betiri e wena o e reka 900. Gore mente ena e reke 3.5 e kind of 4,000. I've already said it. Maladministration, corruption, wastage, and these issues. Which is why I say, problem here on our healthcare is not clinical, it's administrative, largely. So we need to go back with Parliament and the relevant authorities allowing it. To plug the holes that are there. So, all the strategies, how the thing, I've already spoken to issues of procurement and getting a fair price because we're getting screwed all over when we shouldn't. We're not getting fair deals at all. From the procurement to consumables, to drugs and non-drugs, we are buying at a price we should not be buying at. We are going to ensure that we get a fair deal. And I trust Bakaulunga Batari too. If we are going to continue procuring at the rate that procuring Gayone, we are not going to solve it. But it is our intention, go help, or we are going to get a fair deal for every pula we spend. And local government, they will do the same. Mr. Speaker, ke dumela gore ke arabile batlotlegi mme ebile ke kopa gore ke kope batlotlegi gore mo dikgaolong tsa lona where possible ka madi a CCP kana a constituency where possible consider ha go tlhokang gore o reke betiri ya ambulance gore gongwe o ba reke betiri. And I say this because it is our people ba sokola and ba e leng gore ba tlhoka di ambulance segolo bogolo gantsi yana ke bo Malawrence le ba bangwe jalo ba go gae ba e leng gore tota hela ga bana se ba se ipha. So where possible, please utilize what funds you have, a constituency donor fund gore le ka thusa ka tsone tseo and get a fairer price. Ke a leboga, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members. I understand that the Water Utilities Corporation annual report will be tabled at a later date, so it will not be tabled. Honourable members, I understand that the Minister of Trade and Entrepreneurship has a paper to table. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in pursuit to Section 24.1 of the Competition Act of 2018, I beg to table before this Honourable House a comprehensive annual report detailing and discussing the operations of the authority, together with the auditor's report and the audited financial statement of this Competition and Consumer Authority for financial year 2023 to 2024. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
let the paper be tabled. Honourable members, I understand that the chairperson of the Parliamentary Caucus on Women wishes to make a statement. The Right Honourable Deputy Speaker. I don't know if you'll do it from there or you'd want to go to the podium. Please.
Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. As you recall, tomorrow will be the 8th of March, the International Women's Day. So, because it will be on Saturday, we thought it would be wiser today to present our statement as Parliamentary Caucus on Women. So I'm going to present our statement. Mr. Speaker, I'm delighted to be delivering this year's statement on this important day which is celebrated the world over. Honorable members, this year International Women's Day is celebrated under the theme Accelerate Action. Mr. Speaker, International Women's Day is observed annually on March 8. This special day recognizes the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, while also highlighting the ongoing fight for gender equality. It offers an opportunity to reflect on progress made, to call for change, and to celebrate acts of courage and determination by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of their countries and communities. Despite the significant progress, gender inequality remains a pressing issue across the globe as women still face significant challenges in areas like equal pay, access to education, access to health care, and representation in leadership positions. This year's theme, in larger context, embraces deeply the SDG number 5, which talks about achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. We are also looking at Vision 2036, pillar number 2, which talks about human and social development. It is profoundly talking about the favor of gender equality and investment in women. To accelerate action for women's equality requires a multi-pronged approach that addresses systemic barriers, social norms, and power dynamics. As you are aware, Mr. Speaker, historically, women's representation in political spheres of central and local government, respectively, has been a thorny issue for our country. Botswana signed and ratified the SADC Declaration on Gender and Development in the year 1997, making a commitment to achieve at least a 30% quota of women in political and decision-making structures. We continue to face significant challenges in regards to women's representation in Parliament, Cabinet, and in local authority councils, as evidenced by a gradual decline from 1995 to date. In the immediate past Parliament, women representation stood at 11%, while in the current 13th Parliament, it had declined to a mere 8.9%. The singular decline is a call for a robust approach in tackling all barriers to women participation in decision-making positions, especially in politics. In 2017, Botswana signed the post-2015 SADC Protocol on Gender and Development. Though we applaud the government of Botswana for signing the SADC Gender Protocol, we still have a long way to go to reach the 30% recommended by the protocol. As mentioned, Botswana is the poorest performer in SADC in terms of women in political decision-making, with 9% women in parliament. Mr. Speaker, we need to take accelerated action now. Achieving the goal of gender equality in all spheres requires close collaboration between government and civil society. I urge members of Parliament to drive this agenda through. 1, electoral reforms, advocating for electoral reform to change the electoral system to a more inclusive one like the proportional representative. 2, the quota. The Electoral Act should be amended to require political parties to field 50% women candidates at both national and local government levels. To address SRHR and GBV issues through adopting and implementing frameworks, policies, programs, and services such as SADC PF model law on gender-based violence. Mr. Speaker, despite efforts to combat gender-based violence, women continue to be subjected to it. The government has introduced laws and policies that are meant to combat GBV, including courts dedicated to dealing with such cases, and there still are plans to establish a sex offender register. Despite all these efforts, Botswana police recorded at least 93 cases of rape against women between 19th December 2024 and 5th January 2025. During the same period, 19 murders were recorded, and most of these victims are women. From the news reports, it is evident that these figures have risen significantly to date. These figures represent a grim reminder of pervasive violence that women and girls in our society continue to face. We are not doing enough and therefore cannot be complacent. These numbers are a call for alarm in our communities and the nation at large to take accelerated action in condemning GBV in all its forms. I must, however, state, Mr. Speaker, that the government of Botswana sees gender-based violence as a priority and continues to engage various sectors, including civil society, for targeted response. Botswana Police Services introduced several initiatives such as gender and child-friendly units in their police stations across the country, the GBV toll-free line, and standard operating procedures for handling GBV cases. In addition, the Administration of Justice also established special courts to speed up hearing of GBV cases. Moreover, the government of Botswana has taken steps towards ensuring gender equality, including changing laws deemed to be oppressing women and enacting new ones such as Domestic Violence Act. In 2015, Botswana adopted the National Policy on Gender and Development and also appointed a Gender Commission. All these efforts are aimed at ensuring that our girls and mothers are empowered and protected. Mr. Speaker, investing in women is not just a financial commitment, it is also an investment that will ensure and safeguard the future prosperity of Botswana, because when women have access to finances, to credit, technologies, and markets, they are likely to expand their businesses and contribute effectively to sustained economic growth and development. Also, investing in their health will also ensure a healthy society, which will then lead to a productive society. It must be known that world economies are supported by small, medium, and micro enterprises, SMMEs, and approximately 30% of these SMMEs across the globe, they are women-owned. In Botswana, around 75% of SMMEs are women-owned. That being said, Botswana's efforts have been supported through the establishment of different policies and acts, such as Economic Inclusion Act. To cater for the inclusion of women in the overall development of this beautiful country of ours, the Women Economic Empowerment Program and Women's Grant under Department of Gender Affairs are such two examples with implementation challenges. These agendas provide seed money for women's groups to help jumpstart women-led business projects. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, investing in women is a human right and a vital basis for building inclusive societies and promoting democracy. We must remember that every action, big or small, contributes to a more equitable future for all. I call on all of us, individually and collectively, to support women and girls, particularly those who want to pursue politics as their careers, to use International Women's Day 2025 as an opportunity to invest in women, celebrate their achievements, and accelerate progress towards a more just and equal world. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Batuteri, in terms of Standing Order 41.3, no debate may arise on this statement, but I may, in my discretion, allow short questions to be put to the member making the statement for the purpose of elucidating it. Jano, the established tradition on such statements, one, because it's not a statement from government, and that it raises a general issue ya dikgang tsa bong kana tsa bomme. It is a statement in which even members of the executive baka trial. Ora members ke tsa re leng kutu. Honorable Taulo Wipuso Lucas.
Mr. Speaker, rutile statement maitsho le dikgang tse di mo go sone mme ne ke re e rile maloba jale ha go sena go parlamente sena go gana motion wa ga Madao Honorable Dao ya re ke heta ko mmolo mongwe ka emisiwa ke bomme ka bile ke bone ba gantsi ba bereka mo mabenkeleng ba mpolela dikgang tsa bone mme di dirile gore ke go botse dipotso tse pedi tse di latelang gore a mme wa itse maetsho gore bomme ba le bantsi ba kgona go tsaya dingwaga di ka tshwara 3 between nako e ba reportileng case ya go kgokgontshiwa le nako e case ya teng ya attendiwang mme bomme ba le bantsi gape ka one mabaka onao ha ngwa go tsara mongwe wa bobedi wa boraro ha ngwe ba hella ba dropile di case tseo ke re gongwe lona le caucus di khantsela re tota go ka thuswa jang mo go tsone ka gore go ne go supagala gore ba me ba one ba le 6 mo shopong mme ba le bararo ba bua ka gone go tsaya nako e telele go ise go attend di kgang tsa bone mme o ba tswelela e ba nna le bothata go ithala ba di doropa ya bobedi ke ba ne ba supa gore go na le selo a kitswa keni gate ke restraining order a kitso e o ka re sebe ba re gone mo go re le ha e le gore mapodisi ba ntshitse kgotsa ke ra court e ntshitse restraining order borre bone ba ba dilalome ba di gagapa ba di ganka ba kgokgontsha hela le ha bantse go na le restraining order mo e leng gore ba bangwe ba bone yo mongwe o na thotsa e le gore o na thaselwa mo yone benkele ya bereka mo go yone ke dikgang tse dintseng jana le caucus le di bona jang ibile le bona di ka attendiwa ka tsela ntseng jang e ka somarlang botshelo ja bomme ba ba kana ba ena gore ba kgokgontshiwa ke diganka tse di lalometse ke a leboga maitsho.
Let me just find out from the chair of the caucus whether what I would say malwanyana kana hey, okay?
Continue, Speaker.
Honorable Okedite.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Ke be ke leboga, the Madam Speaker, go be e le gore o tsile ka the statement on this very important day. Jaanong ke re ke agele ke re, Mr. Speaker, one of the key things that I think we need to look into doing as a country ke gore go na le bomme, especially in the rural areas ko e leng gore teng ko go kgakala le ditlamelo le tse dingwe jalo jalo. Ha o lebelela sentle ke bangwe ba e leng gore ba go gontshiwa go gaisa, ba le kgakala le ditlamelo, ba le kgakala le law enforcement and everything else. Jaanong, my addition to this debate ke gore go ne go le botlhokwa gore re lebelele rural development as a way e leng gore e ka nna one of the strategies tsa go hokotsa the incidence agenda about based violence, especially mo dikgaolong tsa rona. I think research would confirm this, gore much as any woman or any person, no matter what your social standing is, can be abused. We tell gore the incidence abuse, especially mo go ba e leng gore they don't have the means, e na le go nna ko godimo. Se se dirwa ke gore usually the perpetrators would be economically sound men, ba e leng gore they can buy silence. Ha gongwe ba sa reke silence ya teng expressly, but go le tacit, go le implied, e le mo e leng gore because ke tsile ka khombo ko lapeng, you then cannot report because you know gore ha o reporta khombo e tabe e kgaoga kana e hela. It is perhaps the reason why I'm in Parliament, representing the constituents I represent. Gore, we must fight for rural development. Ha le bua kana ha re bua ka a select group, re ka e kgona ka tse dingwe tse. Me, until we invest meaningfully and seriously in the rural areas, in the livelihoods tsa bomme le basetsana ba ba go dikgaolwaneng tsa rona ba ba sa ipheng sepe, go ntse go tlo nna thata gore re ka fokotsa gender-based violence. Enforcement is critical, and we need to ramp it up and improve. But there's a lot of people violent where they will not even come to law enforcement for socio-economic reasons. Jaanong, ke ne ke kopa motsamaisi dipuisano gore gongwe ntlo e dire a commitment e botoka ha re bua ka socio-economic empowerment and inclusion ya basadi le basetsana kana ke re bomme le basetsana. But then this should have particular focus also more the rural areas. Kana batho ba toropo ga ba itse gore batho ba tshelang go gae. Kore mo dikgaolwaneng tsa rona ha o bua ka abuse. It is not even
a possible major failing by the current government. How does tsengwa madi hela a tlwaetseng gore makgotla a tsoge ka gore goromente ga ke a ira tiro a le nosi ga gona go la ga se lepeleleng gore goromente o dira tiro a le nosi tota hela the funding of civil society to make sure to strengthen makgotla gore a kgone go buelela bo mme a kgone go buelela bo mme a kgone go thusa le gone go dira molao ke tla go ha sekai Mr. Speaker tla intshwarela to be long because I think di malo ena re kgang ye botlhokwa ha o lebella molao wa gompieno Domestic Violence Act ene le molao o ne le gore no tsile ka mo parlamente mme ha o ka bona gore no draft ya ke bo ma ne re le mo teng re se mo parlamenteng ne re